वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा
वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.
Where do I start? Okay, we've started to notice that anxiety, stress, depression, all of these states are effectively to do with the mind. Yeah, we all agree on that. And then there are things that can aggravate that space, things that can make you feel a little bit wobbly. And those things that can make you a little bit sort of unsettled are things that you relied upon, things that you had expectations of, things that you felt gave you a level of stability, say employment, for argument's sake, or a trust in an individual or an institution. And then all of that is just unstabilized. This then begins to impact us, and increases our vulnerability to stress, to anxiety, to depression, and so on and so forth. So in the current climate, you will obviously have to have been completely comatose if you hadn't noticed that the last 3 years have been quite challenging for a variety of reasons. And some people have fared well out of it, some people haven't, and some people still aren't. And while that crisis is over and done, you now have a new crisis upon you. And this crisis is now to do with, well, you ain't going to have enough money. Not just that, but your food prices are going to go out of the roof, which you can see right now. Things that we spoke about 2 years ago. Told you 2 years ago, it's coming. Well, it's here. It's here. Not because you're soothsayers, but you can anticipate where things are going if you can see the pattern. Now we have come to a point at which we feel that there's this transition, this shift of understanding. What are your priorities? What are your priorities? Where do you invest your life? An exchange of what? So I put 2 hours of my work doing X, Y, and Z. That's 2 hours of my life I've invested somewhere. For what? 50 quid? Tomato? Bit of food? Where do I invest that? And this is where humanity, and certainly most people, will need to come to some level of acceptance and terms that life is becoming difficult for a variety of reasons. And therefore, rather than just moaning about it, what can you practically do? The remarkable thing about life is this, that if you put a little pea in the ground, you have a plant that gives you peas. You don't have to do much. Just need to get a pea and the soil and a bit of water. And then someone comes and grabs those peas and says, look, you have to give me 10 quid for a pound of peas. Water is free. But then someone puts it in a bottle and tells you, hey, give me some money for it. And like fools, you do. And then you complain about all the plastic that's polluting the world. Where are you coming from? See the hypocrisy. Just the level of hypocrisy. And we are taken into that situation by those who can control the narrative. That's all it is. There's still the same number of apple trees, the same number of things, apart from the ones that they've burned. Still there. Food always will be here. Always. The fish don't need to worry about tomorrow. Food will be there. The earthworms don't need to worry. Food will be there. That's the nature of the universe. But I can restrict you from getting it. That isn't part of the equation. That's part of manipulation. So, self actualization, self realization, self sovereignty. This is the third one. Here, we're moving now beyond the whole thing and saying, how can I practically use this stuff that I'm learning in a practical way? How can I do this? What can I contribute to? Where do I invest those 2 hours that are meaningful? And I ask you this question. Today, last 24 hours, what did you do that was meaningful? Could be having a biscuit with your cat, but it was meaningful. Becoming aware of where we are putting our focus. This is part of what we have as a result of meditation, coming out of that cognitive fog. The other thing you will notice is what engages you in life is your emotions. Nothing else, just your emotions. So your emotions, like my emotions, are the mechanism through which, when they're stimulated, I move. I am motivated. I move. So let me give you an example. So let's say beside us, next door, there's a child crying, a young child crying in a cot, and it's raining. What begins to happen to all of us sitting here? Child is crying, becoming freaking out. What begins to happen? We begin to be motivated to say, we got to do something. What's going on there? A story is forming. What's going on there? Is that child okay? We read the cry as a distress sound. When we give that story, it gives us an emotion. And that emotion to begin is compassion, care. Oh, I wonder if that's all right. What can I do to help that? And then someone prevents you from going there. That same compassion then becomes your anger. I need to do something. Why am I being prevented? The same compassion becomes anger. That anger will now move you. It becomes the energy to move you, to say, to hell with you, I'm going to go and check out what's happening with that child. Moves you. So all emotions have a value. Problem is when we live in them. That's when the problem occurs. And secondly, there's no regulation. We don't regulate our emotions. What do I mean by regulation? Act. And rather than taking a moment to realize I'm feeling angry and taking a little step, that's it. And that can be enough to unhinge you from that emotional drama. So, the emotional dramas that are currently playing out for our entertainment, and that's all it is. One is the climate change. Everything changes. Everything. Nothing remains the same. Life has a way of taking care of itself. So life will continue to take care of itself. Humanity isn't that special. Get off our ego trips. No different from anything else. We're here, we stay, we die. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Becoming a little bit real. Starting to look at life for what it is. So, stimulus comes in, you read a piece of paper, someone's shot a missile, or whatever it is, whatever the drama is of the day. You hear the news, you see the stimulus, you form a story, happens like that, and you feel the emotion. The moment you feel the emotion, that emotion has changed everything in your body in 4 ways at least, in fact, 5. One, it changes your heart rate, your physiology. So your heart is pumping faster and the blood is being pumped faster. Physical change. your nervous system becomes charged. You switch off something called the flight fight response system, produces loads of hormones, everything begins to get contaminated. Your body is now ready to fight or flight. But most importantly, it damages your electromagnetic field, the bit about your heart that no one really takes care of. So it's like going outside without having any clothes on a winter's day. You're vulnerable. So meditation allows us to do two things. One, build this capacity, retain your electromagnetic space, and strengthen it. So you don't get engaged in the dramas that are going along and other people's misery, because everyone's miserable, whether they accept it or not. That's the nature of life. Now you know when Buddha said life is suffering, what he meant. He wasn't putting you on a downer. He's just saying to you, look, your expectations may be a bit too much. Yeah, life is suffering. This is what life's about. Then we need to realize what causes our suffering. It's our attachment, our expectations, our beliefs, our sense of self, who I am, what my worth is. This ego trip that we get on. This allows us to lose ourselves in all the stuff that's going on around us that pushes us here and there. So the solution is what? The solution is meditation. One, it allows you to step back from this stuff. Two, it strengthens your EM field. But there's a third element. And the third element is that when it allows you to step back, to see before you react, to see that, just that little gap, just that little gap is enough for you to recognize you have some level of control. You know how out of control the world feels at the moment? A level of instability, a level of change, not knowing. Well, stability, it becomes critical now. And meditation provides you with that. And it provides you with that in a number of ways. But one of the most important ways is that every time you do this at your practice, every time you do your practice, something changes. Something changes eternally, but more importantly, something changes in your experience. And sooner or later, you will begin to recognize that there's a consistency in that experience. Stillness, silence, peace, calmness, whatever the word your experience demonstrates. That's where our experiential trust begins, where we begin to unlock ourselves from all these little chains that hold us and push and pull us, whether it be family, relationships, work, or just the environment that we're in. So, through meditation, now it is important, not as a luxury, but as a necessity to ensure that in the morning, if you're able to do at least 5-10 minutes, so you walk out protected. You take some protection. You brush your teeth to protect yourself from plaque. Yet we go out completely naked because we have no understanding of this stuff. But we all feel it. We all know when someone enters our space. We all know when we enter a room where there's been a little bit of hoo-ha. We all realize, we all pick it up. It's that bit. So time has now come to educate ourselves about the heart and how to embrace this understanding of developing ourselves beyond just the physical and the mental Mickey Mouse stuff that's keeping us entertained at the moment and move beyond that. So that's really the serious nature of how we transcend from 22 to 23. Not because we're soothsayers, but simply you can see what will enable humanity to hold its head while all of this goes up and down, which is starting to unravel before your very eyes. So hold no expectations. Expect every single thing that you have ever been told to be alive. Whether it's about religion, whether it's about God, whether it's about your history, whether it doesn't matter. Trust nothing. That way, you'll ride the storm easier because your trust will be broken. But if you have trust in your governments, you have trust in your medicine, your health systems, your religious spaces, then much will be challenged. Much will be challenged in the coming days and the coming weeks, going into 2023, 24. Why? Because the world is now moving into that chaotic space, and you can see that around you. So we started these conversations, these little talks prior. Well, it's been going on for about 10 years, but we started to make sure that we became a little bit more responsible to enable individuals to see some of the holes that are coming along the way, or we may be able to see. And if nothing happens, all is good. Better to be prepared and not need than need and not be prepared. So your takeaway from today should be, where am I investing those 2 hours of my life? That's meaningful. That's meaningful. Yeah. And can I spend an hour a week doing something that can give me some food? So in the winter months, maybe I can get a few potatoes and I don't have to pay £10 for a pound of tomatoes, which is where it's getting now. Yeah. So, okay, we'll begin with our meditation. And today's meditation will bring in a little bit of heart coherence in here. Um, so, um, so a little body scan, heart coherence, and then we'll go into a little our own meditation, right? So in the heart coherence, the steps are like this. We become a little bit aware of ourselves, and if you wish, it works well if you place your hands across your chest, left hand for men first, right hand for women first, um, and you feel that pressure, and then we synchronize the breathing. I'll talk you through it. We're going to try and slow our breath down twice. Okay, so it's not shortening the breath, it's slowing the time it takes for the same breath to enter your body. Right, at the moment there's no slowing, right? So the breath comes in, breath goes out. But if you slow it down, it'll take a little bit longer for the same breath to come in, same breath to go out. That's all we're doing. And we slow it down by about a second, right? So we start off with about 6, we slow it down to 7, slow it down to 8. But if that's not comfortable, you choose your what works for you. But the key is you're going to slow your breath down twice. The third step is when you feel, yeah, it's pretty slow now, you'll know for yourself that there's a level of, and some individuals will feel that there's hardly a breath there. But some individuals will feel that the breath is very, very slow at that stage. When you feel comfortable in that space, bring to your mind anything that generates an emotion that we will call health inducing or positive emotion, right? So, what would those be? Those would be compassion, care, love, gratitude, or appreciation. Gratitude works better for some reason. And so you bring some story to your mind or some image that invoke one of those emotions. The moment you feel that slight tinge within yourself that begins to shift, there's a little warmth in you or a lightness or whatever, however you experience it. That's your signal. That's your signal to draw a slow, deep breath in, hold that breath, and allow the breath to escape like it was your first breath. Yeah. And then when you're comfortable, you can put your hands down. So it's a very simple exercise. It only takes about 10 minutes in the morning, but its effects are remarkable. Um, if you feel unable to slow your breath down twice, then just slowing it down once will work, but perhaps not as intensely as when you slow it down. But it works for different people in different ways. So to begin, we start with the body. Make sure the back is straight and upright. Pull your shoulders back. And notice that your eyes are closed. They're not in any way strained. Your mouth is closed unless you're not breathing through your nose, right? And as you draw your breath in, bring your focus to yourself and just notice yourself. Notice how comfortable your posture is. If you need to change it, change it. And if you pull your chin in slightly, you will notice the back of the neck changes, stretches somewhat. Okay. Once again, notice that your posture is comfortable. And then imagine if there's a hula hoop over your head, and if you bring this hoop down, you scan your body for sensations. So your intention is simply to have a look at what's going on with you right now. So we scan the body from the top of the head all the way down. Okay. Allow yourself to soften a little bit. Notice that there is a chair, a seat, the ground that supports you, that holds you in place. And allow that ground, the chair, the floor to hold you so you can afford to let go somewhat. Relax a little bit. Next breath in, bring your focus to the sensations where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting on. From those sensations, bring your focus upward so you become aware of your hips. Allow this awareness to move down your thighs. All you're doing is just taking a moment to notice what's going on in your body, moving from your head space to the body itself. From your knees, you move down to your ankles. Notice your feet. And then notice the soles of your feet. Coming back to the chair that you're on, the seat. Notice your back is straight and upright. And as you breathe in, you bring your focus up from your lower back to your middle back. Again, just scanning this part of the body, noticing what's going on there. And then from your middle back, you move up towards your shoulder blades. Take your time. Notice the sensations around your shoulders. And then from your shoulders, you move your focus down towards your elbows. Just sensing different parts of the body. From the elbows, you move to your wrists. Notice the palms of your hands. Notice the fingers on your hands. And then bringing your focus towards your eyes. Notice the darkness. Thoughts come and go, but awareness always remains. Now, if you move your focus towards your chest, Hold your focus just at the center of your chest. Begin to notice the movement of your breath, synchronized with the chest. When you're ready, bring the palms of your hands, right hand for women first, left hand for men. Place them on your chest and hold your focus, the point at which you can notice the sensations where the palm makes contact with your chest. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. If you find that your focus has been distracted by some thoughts or a sound, notice the distraction, come back to your chest. Hold your focus at the sensation. Imagine that your breath enters and leaves where the sensations are present within your chest, as though you breathe into the chest and breathe out of the chest. See if you can get to that space. Now we're going to synchronize a count with our breath. So as the breath comes in, you mentally count 1 to 6. As the breath goes out, you count mentally 1 to 6. So it's roughly taking 6 seconds for the breath to move in. It's taking 6 seconds for the breath to move out. Hold your concentration on the count, synchronizing your breathing to the count as best as you can. Stay with the count, 1 to 6 on the breath in, 1 to 6 on the breath out. And now, if you can, see if you can slow your breath down a tiny bit. So the count goes from 1 to 6 to 1 to 7, with the breath breathing in slowed down. Simply slowing the breath down, but ever so slightly. And now, if it's possible, see if you can slow the breath down just a little bit more. Totally focused on the breath. When you're ready, bring to your mind something that invokes care, compassion, love, gratitude, or simply appreciation. And sometimes just the appreciation of the present moment is enough to begin to change this energy within ourselves. The intention to smile can help open this space. Once you begin to feel the change within you, that's your signal to draw a slow, deep breath in, hold, and relax. You can bring your hands down. Your eyes are still closed. Your focus is now on your breathing, just beneath your nose, allowing the breath to breathe in, allowing the breath to breathe out. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Allow the breath to find its own rhythm. Stay with your breath. Notice your breath has a start and an end as it comes in, and the out breath has a start and an end. See if you can notice that. Sharpening your focus. Notice the start, end of the in breath, start, end of the out breath, as best as you can. Follow your out breath all the way till the end. Notice the little gap at the end of your out breath if you can. That little point before the in breath begins, where the out breath ends and the in breath begins. See if you can notice that. Allowing each out breath to draw you deeper and deeper into the moment of now. Stay with your breath, following your out breath all the way out. Notice how you're breathing now. Does the breath feel light or does it feel heavy? Does your breath feel fast or does it feel slow? Bringing your focus now to the sound of your breath. As best as you can, try and listen to the in breath as it comes in. Try and listen to the out breath as it goes out. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out, as best as you can. On your next breath out, open your awareness to all the noises around you. Allow any sound that's around you to come to you. You're not looking for it, you're not seeking it out, and if you come across a sound, you're not judging it or trying to work it out. Simply listening. Listening. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose, sitting with your breath in silence. Stay with your breath. Next breath out, expand your awareness to include your whole body as best as you can. Taking a few moments to notice your experience. How do you feel? Notice the absence of stress, presence of calmness, presence of peace, whatever your experience is. You're still on the same seat you began, held in place, supported. Sensations where the seat makes contact with your body, becoming aware of your hips, allowing this awareness to move down your thighs, starting to become aware of the body itself, from your knees moving down to your ankles. Notice your feet, and then moving to the soles of your feet. Notice that your back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are comfortable and relaxed. Your eyes are closed. Your mouth is closed. And your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And you'll notice as the breath comes in, you can sense your body. As the breath goes out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you feel calm. Breathing out, you feel calm. In a few moments, you will hear the sound of another bell. Use this bell to draw a few long deep breaths in. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Take your time.